Fresh off the presses, the unofficial depth chart of the Washington Commanders just came out, and it's a little bit boring, but we're going to talk about it. And we get the recap what took place at Washington training camp earlier today. Let's get to it. What it do and what's going on, Washington Commanders Nation? It's your boy Rio Robinson, back with the latest and greatest from the Rambling with Rio YouTube channel, where we ramble about our Washington Commanders. We live in a world now where there isn't really much to stew over, overreact about, or have long-winded conversations about when it comes to this unofficial depth chart. But you know what we're going to do today? We're going to still do it anyway. But good day of training camp. Shout out to everybody who got to go to training camp this morning. It's no longer hot as the devil's dick outside. It feels great. There's a breeze. There's no humidity. Practice got to take place at normal time, which is 9 o'clock rather than 8. But there's nothing much to overreact about. The closest thing to have a conversation about is we're doing the either or thing, like the Colts are doing with Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson to start at quarterback. They're doing either or for Josh Connerly and Andrew Wiley for right tackle too. But everyone knows Jakori Merritt is not the fifth string running back. That's why there's nothing to stew over here. Usually there's something that there's no way, I don't know how, but we already know that Jakori Merritt is at worst the third running back on this team. But we know he's not number 5. Everyone who's been out to practice and who pays attention to this team knows exactly what it was. But what up with y'all, man? It's definitely something to talk about. It's definitely something to talk about, man. What's up? Have they re-signed TREY yet? Nope, that would be big news, and that would be everything we're talking about right now. But looking at the original depth chart, starting Terry McLaurin at wide receiver, Laramie Tunsil at left tackle. I would love to know who left tackle number 2 is going to be, because Foster, Sorrell, and Tyree Phillips being your backup and third string left tackle, very scary. No longer having the swing tackle extraordinaire Cornelius Lucas makes that an interesting conversation. Brandon Coleman at left guard, Tyler Biadasz at center, Sam Cosmi with Nick Allegretti there as his seat filler until he's healthy. But, per Dan Quinn earlier today, he's not ruling out Cosmi coming back for week 1. Andrew Wiley or Josh Connerly Jr. at right tackle. As long as Josh Connerly doesn't throw up on himself at joint practices and in preseason, that's going to be your starter at right tackle. Tight end Zach Ertz with Ben Sinnott and Cole Turner behind him as the inline tight end. John Bates has his own role on this offense with Colson Yankoff and Lawrence Cager behind him. Your 3 starting receivers, Noah Brown, Deebo Samuel, opposite Terry McLaurin. They've been doing a lot of boundary stuff for Deebo, but they have to list 3. These depth charts are not something you really have to overlook. There's no fun in this one, and that's good. Boring is good. It means things are business as usual. There are not many. The only thing that's really worth a conversation here is that they got Jakori Merritt, a.k.a. Bill, listed at RB5. We know he's not RB5. He's not behind Chris Rodriguez Jr. Chris Rodriguez don't get no burn with the ones. Jeremy McNichols doesn't get burned with the ones, and I watched him start a football game here. So, no, it's not much to talk about there. But looking at the receivers behind the starters before we get to the running back room, at Noah Brown's spot, it's KJ Osborne, Jacoby Jones, and Big Play Tay, as Ed Oliver calls him, and Braylon Saunders, the DC Defenders guy that we signed recently. That feels like a room full of guys who probably won't make the team. Maybe KJ has a chance. I need to see Jacoby Jones in preseason too, because he might be a playmaker. Luke McCaffrey behind Deebo and Jalen Lane. Like on the final depth chart, Jalen Lane's going to be over Luke McCaffrey. Cliff Kingsbury spoke about how Luke McCaffrey looks night and day from before. He looks night and day, but at the same time, Jalen Lane is getting all the work. in the slot. Like all of the slot work is going to Jalen Lane pretty early. Running back room, Brian Robinson Jr., Austin Eckler, Jeremy McNichols, C. Rob, JCM, Casimir Allen, and Demetric Felton. Moving over to the defensive side of the room, this one looks pretty how I expect it to be when the season comes around. You got Kinlaw and Payne at defensive tackle, Dietrich Wise, Dorrance Armstrong on the edges, Von Miller at that outside linebacker role, the exact same role they had Dante Fowler Jr. listed as, Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu as your middle linebackers, Marshawn Lattimore and Trey Amos, that you've seen them get all the number one reps on the outside, Sandra Still at his natural home at inside cornerback, and Will Harris and Quan Martin. Now let's go to the second unit per this unofficial depth chart that we're not going to overreact about. Cleveland Farrell, and behind him, Javonte Jean-Baptiste, Eddie Goldman behind Payne, and Johnny Newton behind Kinlaw. I would love Johnny Newton to work his way to at some point being a starter-ish or starter-type minutes here, but you're going to see a lot of Payne and Kinlaw. They are two very high-paid players on this team, and Adam Peters has a place near and dear of his heart to Javon Kinlaw, so expect to see a lot of him on the field this year. Jalen Holmes and Andre Jones behind Dorrance Armstrong. Those are two names that I don't really have the greatest confidence in the world, but they're depth pieces, so I don't mind it. Jacob Martin behind Von Miller, so another pass rush specialist, and Jacob Martin has the special teams versatility. Behind Bobby Wagner is Jordan McGee and Kane Madrano. Nick Ballore, special teams demon, and Dominique Hampton behind Frankie Louvu. Hampton's got to get his name called, guys. He's got to get his name called early and often during preseason games because he has to make a name for himself because he's probably a cut candidate if he doesn't show something this year, especially with Kane Madrano coming in and you hear his name called at practice every day. So Bobby Price behind Lattimore and Kevon Seymour, two guys who I expect neither of which to be on the final roster. Jonathan Jones and Vigors behind Amos, and Noah Igbenogany as your backup slot behind Mikey Sanders still. Percy Butler and Reeves as your second unit safeties. Owens and Ben Nickel. Ben Nickel, don't expect him to be on the final roster. Let's see what he does at a preseason game, though. And for the special teams aspect of this list, Tressway is your punter, no surprise. Matt Gay, who was booming 50, 55 yarders at training camp, which we were told and which statistically are his kryptonite. That's a good sign, by the way. Tressway is your starting holder. Tyler Ott, your long snapper. Austin Eckler, second team all-pro kick returner, is still your kick returner with Luke McCaffrey, Demetric Felton, and Casimir Allen falling behind him. And listed as your starting punt returner, this is how you know that the unofficial depth chart that comes out in August is capped. They got KJ Osborne over Jalen Lane as your punt returner. We know damn well Lane ain't the second string punt returner, and we know damn well JCM is not the fifth string running back. So we don't need to overreact to any of this stuff. What up, man? Rio, what's up? You see us viewing our Trey Amos like this? Yeah, bro. Trey Amos is about to have a year. We're about to have a year, man. We're an injury away. I don't think so. We just need to make sure that Debo, Samuel, and Terry are out there. I don't think it's that bad, man. Dietrich Wise is going to start at edge. That's what he was brought here to start at edge. But there's not too much to take away from this, and that's a good thing. That's a very good thing because it's August. We have our first joint. We're going to get so much of a better understanding of how some of these depth spots and where these young guys are going to play on Wednesday when this joint practice takes off and when this preseason game starts this week. And speaking of that, Trey Amos had a day today. In coverage versus Chris Moore and team. He picked off a pass that Jaden put behind Chris Moore, and he had a pass deflection right after he caught an interception earlier today. Bill is still getting run with the ones. Laramie Tunzel opened him up a hole, and he's getting big gain. You're hearing Kane Madrano, Bill, Lane, and aim. You're hearing all of Washington's first round picks daily. That is good. That is very good. We opened up 11 on 11s at practice today with a Jaden to Debo Samuel deep ball and tight coverage. It's install and it's get ready to play a football game week here in DC. I'm pretty excited, man. I'm pretty excited about it. We travel to New England tomorrow. Tomorrow, there will be no practice. It will be travel day. They will be working their way up there. And I believe the joint practice is taking place at Gillette Stadium and not their practice facility. Jakori Brooks, I need bro to lock in and make the roster. For him, like certain guys, like Cliff called Sam Hartman a gamer today and said he's been very uneven coming off of shoulder surgery this summer. Some guys show up when the bright lights turn on. Some guys are not practice players. Jakori Brooks give me the vibes that he's not a practice player because that boy, there were days where he couldn't catch a cold out there. When I was out there, that boy was dropping shit left and right. I don't think that's going to be the case in a game situation. Comp chatter is taken with a whole shaker of salt. Forget a grain. Exactly. What up, Pedro? Make sure y'all sub up to my guy, Pedro, by the way. What's going on, man? What's going on? This doesn't matter who they roll out with. The first team or Wednesday in the joint practice will say a lot. Yeah, exactly. 100%. Are Chris Moore and Strachan any good on a summer training camp? There are guys that are out there that are there just to give looks to people. If you need them to be the sixth receiver to finish out a room, but no, neither of them are any good. Neither of them are any good. Chris Moore is like 32 years old, too. Yo, Rio, Bill at 5 is kind of wild to me. Should he be at least? Because this is not real. The unofficial depth chart is not real. KJ Osborne's not a starting punt returner in the NFL over Jalen Lane, the best returner in the draft. JCM's not our running back 5. Chris Rodriguez has gotten 0 reps with the ones. Jeremy McNichols getting 0 reps with the one. JCM's actually playing. You know? It'd be like that. It'd be like that. I was definitely waiting on this to post. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do it. Let me go work out or something real quick. I'm not about to just be out here waiting on the unofficial depth chart. But, yep, that's exactly what we did over here, man. How's it going? I'm good, man. I'm good. It's beautiful. It's August 4th. It's game week. It's preseason, but it's game week. We get excited about everything over here. The team is traveling tomorrow, so there's not much to chew over other than the unofficial depth chart. But Wednesday, we're getting joint practice, and I'm going to have Lake Lewis on the show to tell me everything he saw at joint practice. We're getting Jaden Daniels versus Drake May at practice. That is something that I'm very excited to see. There's going to be takes flying left and right all over the timeline. It's going to somehow make national news. But, right, keep playing secret. Everybody don't need to know about everybody and everything that we got taking place over here at the moment. But don't overreact to anything you see on here because most of this shit is normal. And you know how they are about rookies and rookies earning their keep. I can tell you what, Jalen Lane is getting like all of the work at slot receiver and all of the first team reps as punt returner at practice, and JCM is getting burned at practice. And they got B-Rob at practice today with the punt returning group. They got B-Rob out here doing side missions and side quests. You know what that reminds me of? They got B-Rob cross training. You know, like at a job when they hire a newer, younger person to do your job and they're slowly phasing you out and they got you cross training, learning other departments. Hey, why don't you come over here with accounting? You don't work in accounting. You should start learning accounting. I'm gonna have you cross train over here in accounting. Get accustomed to the crew over here. Like it feels like when a job phases you out and they start having you cross train with younger people because this younger person is coming for your job. That's what it feels like. What the fuck is B-Rob doing with punt returner? What the hell can B-Rob do for me on a punt returner? Hey, that's hilarious, bro. They got B-Rob out here doing side quests at practice, man. Shout out to B-Rob, though. Don't come for me like you came at Ed Oliver at practice last week. Shout out to B-Rob, but that was very interesting, though. That was a very interesting discovery earlier today. The hell is B-Rob doing with a damn punt return team? The team also, the team is putting out like $1 million into the girls flag football initiative. Shout out to Josh Harris and Cup. It just feels like there's something good PR related that happens with this team on an everyday basis. We got a game this week, y'all. Get hype because we got a fucking game this week. Who are y'all most excited to see play football for the Washington Commanders this week? I know who I'm not excited to see. I have no desire to see Jaden Daniels touch a football field. I have no desire to see Jaden Daniels touch a football field this week. Well, after joint practice on preseason, you know? I don't need to see none of that. I don't need to see none of it. But a lot about the hierarchy of the team and how the final roster is stacking up going forward. I'm excited, man. Very excited. It's preseason or not, man. Preseason or not. I want to see TREY AMOS, but I'm not gonna hold you. I want to see him at joint. I want to see how he runs the ones with Stephon Diggs. Because even coming off an ACL and getting up there in his 30s, Stephon Diggs still one of them ones. One of the best footwork route technicians this league has to offer. TREY AMOS, Joe Witt Jr. said today, every practice is a good practice from TREY AMOS. Every practice is a good practice for TREY AMOS. Man. Those are beautiful words to hear as a Washington fan. We are coming from a life where we had Emmanuel Forbes, Benjamin St-Juste, and Michael Davis playing significant snaps for this football team early on last year. And you go to a rookie corner who you hear is having a good practice every day. Yes, the elephant in the room is he don't got that wide receiver one bump out there yet. Terry's not at practice. We would be watching cinema every day, watching Terry run the ones with TREY AMOS. But we're going to get our first taste of what rookie TREY AMOS, Trenavian, looks like versus some competition when Stephon Diggs comes in the building in a couple days. So a couple people hit me real. I haven't heard much about Marshon Lattimore. That's good. The least we hear about Marshon Lattimore, the better. As long as he's out there, he's healthy, he's in shape, and he's just out there, we're going to be good to go, though. But practice is going to get so much better bump-related when Terry's out there. Von Miller, first string. I thought he was just a third down route. Hey, guys, lock in. This is the same position Dante Fowler was listed at last year. Dante Fowler was not a starter here in DC, but when you see the starting lineup on the roster, they have the first outside linebacker listed as the pass rush specialist for this team. Dante Fowler was not a starter. He was not a starting edge. He was listed at the same spot Von Miller was last year. Von Miller is here to do the exact same job as Dante Fowler. Nothing to see here. Nothing at all to see here. Yeah, I see them trying to recruit 17. They can shut up. Curl, I'll at least accept that from Curl. I don't want to see Emmanuel Forbes trying to recruit anyone to play anywhere because he's not even guaranteed a roster spot where he's playing. You may be trying to recruit people to go work at Kroger with you, Emmanuel Forbes. So you should not be trying to recruit players for a team that you are not sure to be on. Not trying to be an asshole, but it'd be like that, man. It'd be like that, man. What up? How hype are you for the preseason? I'm hyped. I'm hyped to see football being played. Preseason football is terrible, but it's still football. You know how many people watched the nasty-ass Hall of Fame game with Trey Lance versus Hendon Hooker and Kyle Allen last week? 7 million people. 7 million people. The most watched Hall of Fame game in 5 years to watch garbage football being played because NFL is king. They're the king of this shit. Don't let anybody tell you any different, bro. You could put them out there and put them in a flag football setting and call it preseason, and people are going to watch their teams play, and the timeline is going to be full of discourse. It's what they do, man. It's what they do. If it's the Rams want Terry, nobody getting Terry, by the way. We're not trading Terry. I seen ML football or NFL rumors, one of those bullshit aggregate pages that's probably ran by a 16-year-old in his mother's basement, post something about us and the Dolphins discussing a Terry for Tyreek Hill trade. Ignore those posts. Those are rage baiting aggregators. They don't have any sources, or they just see shit online, copy, paste, run with it, and hope that people click on it for engagement. They're trying to get the Elon Musk check each month. B-Rob on punt returns is a nasty thought in itself. That's a very nasty thing to stew over. But what can B-Rob do for me on the punt return? I'm just trying to imagine, bro. B-Rob fields a punt at like the 18-yard line. Where's he going? Like, where's he going with them joints, man? Oh, man. And they've had Deebo Samuels working with the kick return team as well, but he's not on the unofficial roster. The unofficial roster is very cappy, guy. The unofficial roster is only made because there's a game this week. There's a game, and when there are games, you have to put out a depth chart. You have to start doing an injury report and a depth chart. It's just protocol and decorum for NFL teams. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. KJ Osborne's not going to be your starting punt returner unless he just suddenly becomes important because Jalen Lane is used so much on the offense, they don't want to use him as the punt returner anymore, man. It's all good. And having a Terry jersey, there's nothing wrong with having a Terry jersey. Even if he were to leave, he's not going nowhere. He's not going nowhere. What streaming service has the Commanders game? Not sure, but so I'm guessing you're not local. I'm about to say local. We're going to get it on either NBC or CBS, but I'm not sure. But when I find out, I will let you know. The easiest answer for players with most to prove and most to gain from this week of football, it usually starts with a bunch of guys from the 2024 draft class. Dominique Hampton, because I rarely ever hear him spoken about from training camp, and Ben Sinnott and Luke McCaffrey and Jerzon Johnny Newton. That is where I start every conversation of players with the most to gain. But as far as excitement level, I want to see Lane and I want to see Bill, because I don't care where they were drafted. They get after it, man. They get after it. I'm honestly going to be paying attention to like Jonathan Jones and what's his name? Noah Igbenogany, because Noah's having a really good camp. Jonathan Jones is a former Patriot. He's been to Super Bowls there. He knows that team left and right, even though they got a lot of new moving parts there. He knows a lot of the players on the New England Patriots, him and Dietrich Wise. New regime, though, under Mike Vrabel, but I like to see how they look out there. You just want to feel for what your team looks like, because it's kind of like cheating. That's why when we get excited over interceptions and touchdowns, when it's team versus team at practice, you're kind of cheating because there's no game planning involved. You kind of know what the scheme you're going against is. They know the offense. The offense knows the defense. You know the tendencies. You know when guys make breaks on their routes. You know the depth they like to run their routes. So we get our first objective and impartial analysis of what we look like versus another team this week at joint practices and the preseason game. My boy Scott, hey, when do they start cutting down the roster? If I'm correct, it's just one large chop now. I believe they changed it, and it's just one large chop after the finale of preseason where we just go down from 99 to 53. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't that the rule now? Or because I don't believe they're doing the 99 to 75 and 75 to 66 down to 53. I don't think they're doing all that anymore. I think they make it just one large chop. Let me know if I'm wrong about that, though, because if I am, we will correct that. I don't want to be out here spreading information. We know we're in the golden age for misinformation. It takes nothing but a bold-faced graphic to make people believe. You know how many things I see on the timeline every day that has a picture of an athlete and some ridiculously outlandish, salacious quote on it. And people are like, oh my God, he really said that? Like 9 times out of 10, no, the fuck, they did not say that. But in the golden age of misinformation, all it takes is a bold-faced header on a picture, and people are just going to go crazy. Man. Jakori Krosky Merritt earlier in practice with a really pretty run to the left. Laramie Tunzel opened it up, and he started to move it. Let me find it. Ed Oliver had a clip of it from practice earlier. Shout out to my guy, Ed, fellow Commanders King. Speaking of Commanders Kings, make sure y'all get y'all tickets to see Commanders Kings live at Crystal City Sports Pub. We are under 50 tickets available for our page for a couple of these clips real quick. 1 second. See what's happening out at Ashburn. God, this was such a perfect day to be at practice. I had somewhere to be this morning. I wanted to go to practice today because the sun is not beaming. This is the Jakori Krosky Merritt run. Let's see. Not the greatest angle because they don't really want fans recording. So, we got to do the most to try to record reps out there. You can see Big Tunzel open up a hole. And yes, Big Tunzel. That's Jakori out there with the ones. Tunzel opening it up. Him slipping and sliding, getting through, using lateral agility. Everything I've seen from this guy, it just looks like a real running back, man. I was in a world where I watched a running back with no height picked in the 6th round run for 1,600 yards here. And Jakori Krosky Merritt has endless talent. He has a lot more talent and innate ability than Alfred Morris had. And Alfred Morris had a good NFL career. So we should be excited about Bill, and we should stop prefacing every statement about Bill with, I know he's a 7th round pick. Some guys just got the stuff. Like Cliff said at the podium today, my guy Cliff with the Cliff straw hat on, he said, you just know something's different about a guy who's ineligible to play, but still sticks with the program and runs scout team all year. And then starts the draft process, goes to the East-West Shrine Bowl, shines. He said, we were very excited about this pick. That tells me they have plans for this player. They really liked and studied this player. And they know he brings something that we lack in the running back room here. And trust me, Cliff is a film junkie. Ben Standig posted yesterday that Cliff opened up his offseason by watching every single snap of every single team in the entire. He watched every snap that was played in the 2024 NFL season. That's how he started his offseason. I love Cliff. I'm going to make a video where I expound on this, but we have to do whatever it takes to keep the marriage alive between Jaden Daniels and Cliff Kingsbury. I love that guy. This is the perfect marriage. They have the perfect personalities, and it's only going to grow more where Jaden can be more vocal, and Cliff is just a cool-ass guy. He didn't mesh with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is like your neighbor's chihuahua that believes it's a pit bull, but it's still a chihuahua snapping at you and shit, trying to bite your ankle off. Full-time gamer Kyler Murray and Cliff were not a personality fit. It also helps that Jaden is 6'4", and Cliff does not have to be an architect to design throwing lanes for Jaden to get the ball over the offensive line. Not trying to make short jokes, though. Not trying to make short jokes. Not trying to go there. But if the shoe fits, we got to keep Cliff in house. I don't care if you got to stroke him a check to make him the highest paid offensive coordinator in the league. You do not let Cliff Kingsbury get up out of here yet. I need to see Cliff here at least through the first 4 years of Jaden's rookie contract. I need them to do so well together that Cliff got no choice but to stay. When it comes to coaches, it doesn't count against the salary cap. It does not count against the salary cap at all. So Pay the coaches whatever the fuck. Josh Harris money is not our money. Let him pay that. Let him pay that. I don't see Micah or Terry getting traded because the league is under control of these players. Players don't get the reference. Hey, my offensive coordinator don't sleep. Who needs sleep? He's still in great shape. He came back jacked. All Cliff does is watch football, coach football, do curls for the bicep, and travel the world with baddies. That's a dream life for real. That is gold. Cliff Kingsbury, that's my hero, low-key. He flies overseas with bad bitches. He studies football. He coaches football. He does bicep curls, rinse, wash, repeat, bro. That sounds like a dream life to me, bro. I don't know about y'all. They do not need to keep Jeremy McChicken. God damn, I sound like I'm about to get sick, bro. My throat is feeling real throaty. I know y'all about to say, hey, yo. I hope I don't get sick again. That shit that was happening in June was the devil. When would you expect a Terry signing by? The week before the first NFL game. So the last week of August. Twerk off is diabolical. That's that Christian Wilkins shit right there. That's that Christian Wilkins shit, man. Just thought about this. Where's TJ, the international player from the Pathway program? No idea. Have not heard that name one time in all of camp. Let me get to another clip, by the way. Totally forgot we're doing clips right now. What else Ed got from today? Not the best angle, but another nice run by JCM. Look at that. Another one. Another one. Actually looked like the play we were just watching. I might. Here we go. TREY AMOS with a PBU. He a little handsy out there, but he got his head around. It was very late. It was very late, but it was not a Benjamin St. Juice rep. All I had to do was see TREY AMOS get his hand around one time to say him and Benjamin St. Juice are not the same person, because BSJ in 4 years may not have got his head around one fucking time. One time. You're hearing that name out there early and often. Hey, Rio, how much is a ticket and where can I purchase one from to see you guys in person? I got you, brother. I got you right now, man. I'll drop that in the chat. Give me 1 second. Zizzy brought it back up. We're going to give it to you one more time. Commanders Kings Live. Out of 150 tickets, we have less than 50 tickets available at this point. August 24th, Crystal City Sports Pub. Doors open at 5 o'clock. We start around 5:45. So we're going to have some time to mingle, eat something, have a little drink if that's what you do. Not a drinker. I'll probably have a drink with somebody. I have a drink or two with the guys just because for shits and giggles. But we're live from Crystal City Sports Pub on August 24th. When I say Crystal City Sports Pub, listen to me very directly. It's not the Gentleman's Club. It's not Crystal City Restaurant. It's the Sports Pub. I just dropped the link in the chat. Here it goes right here. This is the link for the Commanders Kings live party. Get your tickets in there. Are we going to be in DC? We're in Arlington there, but we're going to definitely be mixing around where we do events with the four of us, because we have plans, and we have more plans than just this one party. We have plans for the season, the postseason going forward. Appreciate you for the congrats on the SeatGeek partnership. And speaking of that, if you need tickets this season, you want to get them at SeatGeek. Let's pay the bill. I've been looking to find the best deal on Washington Commanders tickets for the 2025 season, which is why I want to give the sponsor of today's video, SeatGeek, a huge shout out. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sporting events, festivals, and more. The NFL is right around the corner, and MLB is in full swing. I love using SeatGeek. Recently used it, lock in my training camp tickets. Most notably, I was at the Grand National Tour with my son, Kendrick Lamar, and SZA at Northwest Stadium. SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 through 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. So look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. And you know I had to come through for y'all using promo code RIO for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code RIO. RIO. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you again, SeatGeek, for sponsoring this video. Shout out to SeatGeek. As you can see on the bottom of the screen, promo code RIO, RIO, on SeatGeek for $20 off your next tickets on SeatGeek. But the alternate jerseys don't go on sale until September. I'm hearing mid-September. Do I smoke? No, I don't do that, but I'm sure people will be smoking. It's going to be a lot of ganja smell in the building that day. You're going to the Raiders game too. That is the one confirmed regular season. Well, one of two confirmed regular season games I'll be at this season. What's up though, man? Oh, my bad. I started it. See, pretty much today, I was going to give you the training camp recap and the unofficial depth chart video all in one as a stream. It was pretty much a whenever the depth chart drops, I'm going to hit live immediately. So I went to get a little workout in right quick. But and just to let you know how we moving on the channel this week, tomorrow I will get you some content out by the evening. I got a school event to go to because school starts next week for my children. Crazy. Like it's a crazy world we live in. I grew up in Prince William County, Woodbridge, Virginia. We never started school before Labor Day. They got these kids starting school August 11th. That's crazy. I never started school in August. I started football practice every year in August. I never stepped foot in a school before the month of September, and kids are starting in mid-August, in early August now. Crazy talk to me, but tomorrow I'll have a couple videos out before the evening time. Wednesday is joint practice. So I'll probably have a video out talking about joint practice. And then instead of having me regurgitate what media's talking about, I'll have Lake Lewis on, who will be at the joint practice a couple hours following it to tell us everything. Studs, duds, who balled, who didn't, who needs to show more. And probably that Jaden Daniels looked surgical as hell versus the New England Patriots defense. Thursday, my guy Colby Cochran from Patriots Global, the same Patriots fan I had on during the preseason last year. I'll have him on to talk about the New England Patriots, their new look and outlook after signing 1,000 players this year, getting Mike Vrabel, a Patriots legend, as the head coach and a culture builder, and where they can expect in the development of Drake May this year. I'm sure he's also going to try to say, oh, we're getting Terry McLaurin from you guys. You know, they're living in delusion over there. So we're going to get into some of that as well. I believe Thursday evening or Friday afternoon, I'm going to have Josh Taylor on the channel. My boy JTFB, now a beat writer for A to Z Sports. Shout out to one of our fellow content creators in the media, for real now. Shout out to my boy Josh. And we're going watch party style for the preseason game Friday, baby. We'll be live. I'll have Lil Rio with me. We'll be watching preseason game numero uno at the New England Patriots, man. I believe 18 is the limit to get in the party. 18 years old. I know alcohol is served there, so 21 is what I would expect, but I believe 18 is. But if that's not the case, I'll talk to the promoter again. I'll confirm that for you. You know, lock in with the guys. As a Cowboys fan, you hate Washington. The hate is mutual. You know, we're all in the family, though. NFC East, we're all in the family. We're just all like enemy cousins, you know? How am I feeling about the Terry situation? I feel fine, too, because while Terry's expressed how he feels about everything, it's not a situation like Dallas at all. It is nothing like the Micah Parsons situation in Dallas, where he wrote a rough draft 3-page letter, a testimonial manifesto of sorts of hatred and how he feels disrespected because Jerry be moving like a plantation owner. Jerry be moving like Leo from Django. with the way that he runs his team, man. But it's not that. Terry's still at practice, all smiles. He's not practicing yet, because the fluke ankle injury. And shout out to DQ for backing his player up. They know there's no real injury designation, but they're going to talk about it like it is. Who's a perfect comp for Jakori, Kroski, Merritt? Let me watch him some more in these preseason games, and I'll give you one. I see people say Terrell Davis. I've seen someone say he's got some Kamara to his game. Let me watch him some more, and then I'll give you a comp. But I'll tell you what he does look like. He looks like an NFL running back. He looks like an NFL running back. Once again, you get your tickets here. Appreciate you, Zay, for dropping that in the chat. It's going to be a good time, man. We're doing 53-man roster projections 2 days before rosters go official. And someone asked me earlier in the chat, did I make my record prediction yet? Nope, because I'm saving it, because me, Ed, Rico, and Lou are going to go game by game with y'all in attendance, and y'all that are watching on stream. We're going to make our season predictions that day. Maybe we'll do a hairline check as well, since people was talking crazy on us going on Terry's hairline that one night, man. Oh, man. Going to school in August is wild. August 11th is super crazy, bro. What is going on? I know they get out in May, but damn, bro. Crazy. I'm excited, though. It's game week. It's a fake game, but it's a game. I'll be watching everybody. I'm going to be doing a lot more watch parties on the channel. If I am willing and able, I am going to watch party every primetime game, even the trash ones this year, and on Sundays I'll probably be doing like the whole day. So be prepared to get long. Y'all gonna be spending some long days with me this football season. We turning this shit up a notch on this side. Micah's done, but Micah can't go nowhere unless he decides to hold out. And I don't see players pulling a Le'Veon Bell and sitting out a whole season. So hairline check is hilarious, yo. Hats off in the building. Everyone in attendance, not just us on the stage. Hats off. my shit going backwards, but it's still symmetrical. That shit's still symmetrical, bro. A ruler can still, it takes a regular ruler. My shit ain't parabola like, so I'm safe. I'm safe. It's going backwards though, but it's still there. Join stream late. What did you miss? Everything. Shout out to Caleb Williams, man. Shout out to Caleb Williams. Okay, so I got Luke McCaffrey on the screen right now. Cliff big upped him. Gave him a shout out during his presser today. Both of our coordinators spoke today, and they were both really good interviews, by the way. I like hearing them because they're very honest. They don't just glaze the players. They talk about things that guys can work on. Like the way Cliff's tone was talking about Luke, like, oh, he's night and day. Like he pretty much told us last year he looked like a guy that's only played the wide receiver position for a couple seasons. But I don't think there's anything Luke can do in a practice setting that's going to make us be sold on him in the third round. We're going to have to see it during the regular season, man. Shout out to bald men everywhere, man. It comes with the territory sometimes. What if AP pulls? I'm not going to hold y'all, guys. There is not a world where Dallas would trade Micah Parsons here. It's not happening, guy. It's not happening. If we get Micah Parsons ever in his career, there will be a stopgap team or two between it. It will not be happening from Dallas. You don't see divisional rivals trade superstar players, and someone's going to put this in the chat, and you're going to be wrong. The Giants did not trade Saquon Barkley to Philadelphia, so please save your finger activity in the chat. That also sounds crazy. It is what it is, though. But let's talk joint practice for a second. Luke sucks. Damn. I just don't have any expectations for him. And I want to keep it so that anything he does in a positive note excites me, makes me feel good, makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside, because I had zero expectations for him. If Luke McCaffrey can be Ryan Grant in this offense, I think that is a success story. I'm not trying to be facetious or an asshole. Yeah, late career. Or it would have to be after he leaves Dallas. No, superstars aren't getting traded to divisional rivals, guys. You know why we traded Jahan Dotson to the Eagles? Because he's ass and because he's soft. And our receivers in this room, we require receivers to be physical and to be blockers. Jahan Dotson ain't want none of that blocking shit. I'm a first-round player. I'm not blocking nobody. Pillow saw. Cliff Kingsbury saw 2 weeks of Jahan Dotson at practice and said, get him the fuck off my roster. So I hope Luke's video. Oh, man. Y'all remember the Terrell Pryor hype videos? What a time to be alive, man. What a time to be alive. I didn't see any videos of Terry signing after practice today. Have they taken a break? Has he taken a break from the politicking? Jaden Daniels signed a baby at practice today. He signed a whole newborn baby. You know, it wasn't crazy hot outside today. I'm not trying to be Mr. Judgment, but having a newborn baby at training camp practice is a choice. That's most certainly a choice. I'm not judging you, but you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to judge you, but that is most certainly a choice. But shout out to Jaden for signing this baby. I'm not even sure you should be putting a marker on a baby, but shout out to hashtag my president, Jaden Daniels, out here signing baby. You know who you won't see on the premises anymore? Buddy Baker. They probably told, hey, buddy, come to AP's office, buddy. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Our parking passes, we ran out for the 2025 season, man. You're going to have to move the Accord. You're going to have to move the Honda Accord at the end of the day. So we probably won't be seeing Buddy Baker walking his camp counselor looking ass around the premises anytime. But the baby is a collector's item now. How much that baby going for on the open market now? Let me stop making jokes like that, because there is a world where people are really out here selling babies. So I'm sorry, that shit is still hilarious. Buddy Carter, not Buddy ride sharing with Terry to and from practice, man. That will be the first baby ever with a tattoo. Straight to the tattoo parlor after practice. Straight to the tattoo parlor. Get them tatted up. I consent. Oh, good times, man. Good time. Oh, okay. This is what I wanted to get to. Fans, what is our concern level with the players who were held out of practice today? So, Thumb, aka Brandon Coleman, that's what I like to call him, by the way. Brandon Coleman built like Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas. You know that big sack of bugs villain from Nightmare Before Christmas? That's what Brandon Coleman looked like, bro. Brandon Coleman built like a potato sack full of pudding. But shout out to Brandon Coleman. Let me get into it and stop making jokes. Not out here for Commanders practice today. Marcus Mariota, Mikey Sanders-Still, Brandon Coleman, Noah Brown, Jordan McGee, Javonte Jean-Baptiste. See, first things first, I heard that and said, veteran rest day. But these are not veterans. Marcus Mariota's a veteran, but these are all young bucks. Jordan McGee, I don't need to be seeing his name attached to injury reports or being held out of practice, because that was the entire reality of his rookie season, and we drafted him with a purpose in the 5th round last year. Brandon Coleman concerns me because I don't want this to be a thing. Didn't he get hurt right before one of our joint practices last year? Maybe he's allergic to joint practice with another team, but if I recall correctly, he got hurt right before it and he battled through some things, and that's why he kind of had to be shepherded into starting at tackle last year. But Javonte Jean-Baptiste, Noah Brown, Mikey Sanders-Still, I'm wondering if there's just some treatment. We didn't really get context, so we're going to have to wait till we hear from Dan Quinn and company before we hear it. Potato sack full of pudding. That's what Brandon Coleman built like, bro. Very weird. Jalen in the chat be saying he built like Respucia from Norbit. That's Sheldon Day. Sheldon Day is somewhere between Respucia and Medea. But listen, man, I'm not concerned. And then I see Marcus Mariota on the list. I'm not concerned with any of these players until they give me a reason to be concerned. If all of these players don't make the flight or do not join us for joint practices or something like that, then we start having that conversation. But until then, no concern on my end. What is y'all's concern level with these players being held out of practice? I'm going to say it again. Marcus Mariota, Mikey Sanders still, Brandon Coleman, Noah Brown, Jordan McGee, Javonte Jean-Baptiste. Because I don't think those are veteran rest days. I don't think these guys qualify or constitute the prerequisites for veteran rest days. They're all babies. They're all wet behind the ears, and then it's Marcus Mariota. So I'm not concerned. What y'all think, though? What y'all think? Cliff too cool, man. Cliff was way too cool at the podium today. Happy birthday again to the Diesel, John Riggins, the most important running back who had the most important play in franchise history. Don't know how old he's turning. Let me know in the chat if you got that, because I don't really care to look it up. But shout out to Riggo. Shout out to the Diesel. We got a game this week, y'all. We got a game this week. I'm more concerned with Brandon Coleman. Is it his ankle? I think it is his ankle. I hope it's not, though. Ankle problems that big, that's concerning. We got 20 games out of Ertz and Wagner. They know what they're doing. If it's the Friday before game, different story. Just making sure. Yeah, I feel so too. It's more precautionary. That injury bug is definitely hit some camps league-wide. We're going to need that shit to continue to stay away from our guys, but we're ramping it up. We're ramping things up in 2 days and Wednesday when we do this joint practice. This is game situation. We're going to see live reps. We're going to hear some pads pop. This is for real, the first time NFL players are popping pads when they do joint practice in preseason game, because there's not but so much physicality you're going to see versus your own teammates in practice. They've nerfed the shit out of what you do versus your own teammates. Only thing I'm concerned with about is 17. It'll work itself out. I'll just put it like this. They're either going to get an extension done or he's going to be playing this year under contract, his current one, because he has a year left for about $23 million. He's not going to sit out or hold out the season. So you will see Terry McLaurin's acorn head ass here week 1 doing wide receiver things and getting ready to play against Deonte Banks, his son, and the New York Giants. Yeah, that was not a good look for Terry. I mean, the agent part, I didn't like that. I didn't like the agent being there. I'm cool with everything else. My only 2 issues was the agent, and for petulant reasons, like I didn't like that he wore the same outfit all week. Every time you saw a picture or video of Terry last week, you thought you was watching the same one over again. I was so distracted by that, I didn't even pay attention to anything Buddy Baker was wearing. I'm pretty sure he was probably dressed like Adam Sandler or some shit, but shout out Buddy, man. Shout out Buddy. They be leaving Buddy Baker on red like shit. They probably do the negotiation straight with Terry. They probably go through Terry to get to his agent. Terry, tell Buddy to come in today. Hey, bring Buddy with you when you come through tomorrow. What's up, man? What's going on? What's going on, man? How you doing? Bring up the Kime post of B-Rob playing catch with the crowd so we can see the tumble. Oh, yeah, let me pull that up. See, y'all petty like me. Y'all are petty like me. You got to find things to laugh at, and you got to find propaganda that supports your agendas. And hold on. B-Rob was playing catch with a young fan, and he made a diving attempt to get the ball. And it was very Antonio Gibson-like. Let me pull that up for you right now. This is pretty funny. Shout out to Kime for sharing this. Look at this. Brian Robinson Jr., Mr. Side Quest. He is the side quest extraordinaire right now. They got him returning punts, and now he's playing pitch and catch or pitch and fumble with a fan. Let's see it. See, if you've been to training camp, you see this section you're looking at right now? You see this section you're looking at? It's behind the far end zone. And you get a really poor view at practice, but I imagine that's by design. I imagine it's by design because they're trying to limit people getting clips and doing what I did on YouTube for quite some time and posting the entire 7-on-7 and 11-on-11. Oh, there goes the fumble at the end. They look like Gibson because Antonio Gibson used to get stripped by ghosts at practice. Antonio Gibson used to get stripped by absolutely nobody versus air in practice. Shout out to B-Rob for kicking it with the fans, though. Shout out to B-Rob for kicking it with the fans. Enjoying the hell out of his final year in Washington. He has one more year left in his contract, and extending running backs is not the best practices for defense. Lake said, watch out for Brandon Ayuk. Nah, I don't see that at all, considering that he ripped the shreds out of his knee last year. I can't see that one at all. Gibson makes the catch, gets in the clean, nobody left to beat, and fumbles. Yeah, that was what practice looked like with Antonio Gibson, bro. I remember there was a clip from my vlog, and I was like, oh, shit, he fumbling again. Here you go with that fumbling shit again. Good times, but Jakori being listed as the RB5 should not have anyone in panic mode, because anyone with eyes, ears, and has been paying attention to the team, the media, and the fans in attendance, Jakori Krosky Merritt is getting a lot of work. He's getting a lot of work. Those air players be stripping the ball. Where can I find the depth chart? I like to check it out. I'll pull it back up on screen for you, man. I'll pull it up right now. Give me 1 second. We'll go back over the unofficial depth chart one more time before we get out of here, because I'm going to sign us off in a little bit. I ain't going to take too much of y'all's evening. Hopefully, I hope to get y'all through work days, a drive home or something. But who had it? Oh, Selby had it. Zach Selby. Let me pull it up right now. Unofficial depth chart. Let's see it. Let's look at the website, official website version of it. Let's pull it up. And we'll go down all of it one more time as we sign off another successful stream on the channel. Appreciate y'all for rocking with the guy. We got almost 700 people here on a pretty much could happen anytime type stream. I was waiting on the depth chart to come out, and then here we go. This is your current Washington Commanders depth chart. I'll zoom it in some more so y'all can see. At the X receiver spot, Terry McLaurin, Michael Gallup, Chris Moore, Michael Strachan. Terry and one person off this list will make the team. Left tackle, a spot where the backup or depth behind Laramie Tunzel can be a little bit alarming, but we will see. Foster Sorrell, Tyree Phillips, and newly acquired Lucas Niang beseat Laramie Tunzel at left tackle. We got old Thumb at left guard with Chris Paul and Julian Good-Jones behind him at left guard. Biotish and Louis T's favorite, Michael Dieter. Thanks for making me right. Michael Dieter behind Tyler Biotish. Right guard, Sam Cosme, Nick Allegretti, a.k.a. Shrek, and Timothy McKay. At right tackle, Andrew Wiley, or in all caps, or Josh Connolly Jr. It's going to be JCJ unless he's just getting dog walked all through the preseason in both sets of joint practices. Trent Scott has to be our new Dollar General Cornelius Lucas, because he can play tackle, he can play guard, he can go to either side of the field. So we got discount diet Cole Luke and Trent Scott. And then we got Bobby Hart finishing out the right tackle room, you know? But on the other side of the offense, the tight end room, we got the in-line tight end, which is Zach Ertz, with Ben Sinnott behind him and Cole Turner. Cole Turner's not making any roster. And when I say any roster, I don't just mean here. He's not making anyone's final 53. That's a perennial practice squad player. I will always remember training camp Cole for 2 weeks before Jeremy Reeves tackled him low, and we never saw the same player again after he got banged up. I remember those first 7 practices, Cole. I was there every day. I remember them. I seen it. I seen that shit. John Bates says you're blocking tight end 2 type guy with Colson Yankov and Lawrence Kasier behind him. The other 2 starting receivers, Noah Brown and Debo Samuel. Don't look too hard at how these are listed, because based on everything everyone's seeing at practice, on the outside, your receivers that are getting the most reps are Noah and Debo, but Jalen Lane is getting a lot of the work in the slot at practice right now. So don't be concerned when you see him as wide receiver 3 behind Debo over here. And then Luke McCaffrey behind Debo, Jalen Lane, and Jakori Brooks. Like, we all know Jakori Brooks and Jalen Lane don't play the same position. Don't look too hard, stress yourself out, or do backflips over the unofficial depth chart. And the biggest reason for that, I don't have to discuss the quarterbacks, do I? Y'all know the vibes. It's 5. It's Hawaiian 5, Josh Johnson, and Sam Hartman. Nothing to see here. Brian Robinson Jr., Austin Eckler, Jeremy McNichols, Chris Rodriguez, JCM, and Casimir Allen. This position right here is every reason why you do not have to worry about unofficial depth charts, because we all know good and goddamn well JCM is not behind Chris Rodriguez, and he's also not behind Jeremy Nichols. So don't sweat it. And there's Casimir Allen still over there as well. They try to keep, he's like, Casimir Allen is like the summer camp counselor that just can't get away from camp. Like, you graduated already, but you still come around. You're like the super senior, bro. Like, you just keep coming back. He's a summer staple of the football program here. So, you know, and this is an unofficial depth chart, a 7th round pick, and that's why he's there. It's not indicative of what's happening on the field. And when I show you the special teams thing, you will also see that, because they got KJ Osborne listed as the punt returner. We all know Jalen Lane's the starting punt returner. They do this thing where they shepherd in the rookie. None of this is anything we need to be concerned with. Like, it says Von Miller starting outside linebacker. You know why it says that? Because it's the same thing it said all year for Dante Fowler Jr. It's the reason why Fowler wore number 6 and Von Miller wore 24. If they were listed as defensive ends, they could not wear those numbers. But considering that they're listed as backers, they did. And they are considered backers because they are rotational pass rushers. That's why Von Miller's listed there. That does not mean he's a starter. Dante Fowler Jr. was not a starter for us, and he was listed at this all last year. Starting at D tackle, Payne and Kinlaw. Wise Endurance is on the edge. Wagner, Luvu, nothing to see here. Amos, Sainra, Still, Lattimore on the outside. Will Harris, Quan Martin. Goldman and Jerzon and Fair. I see a world where Javonte Jean-Baptiste and Jacob Martin are your backup edges over Cleveland Farrell. They love them some Cleveland Farrell, though. He's like a locker room leader for whatever reason that is. Jordan McGee and Ballore, special teams demon behind Luvu. Dominic Hampton, he might have the most to prove on the roster in joint practices and training camp, because I don't think he's had his name said in a play one time in 2 years. And Kane Madrano don't look like a linebacker in size. He lacks the girth, but in athleticism and instinct, the kid finds the football, he flies around, and I don't take it as nothing that he went to the same school as Adam Peters. He loves his Bruins, man. There are no Dolphins in Skins trade talk. Those are pages that are desperate for attention on social media. The only thing we do know is apparently the Steelers called and they got told fuck out of here by the Commanders for Terry McLaurin. There are no Dolphins Commanders trade talks. Yep, let's trade for another, even though I know the talent is very different. Trading for another $30 million 30-year-old. I don't see that being a thing. Until I see that from somewhere credible, it never happened. I don't like to dignify aggregating, rage baiting page like that. And Matt Gay has been booming 50-yarders all week, and he's been automatic. So far, he's earning the highest guarantee the kickers ever got upon signing. Tressway, Matt Gay, Tyler Ott, Austin Eckler, still your kick returner. They got KJ Osborne over Jalen Lane. Another thing to circle in the this is a Fugazi unofficial depth chart. Nothing to see here. Nothing surprised me. Deebo Samuel has been the one back there with Austin Eckler at practice returning kicks. You don't even see him on this list here. Guys, they put these depth charts out unofficially. One, because it's a game week. You have to put a depth chart out. You have to put out an injury report. So this is all just decorum and protocol. Nothing to see here. Not concerned with Jakori Krosky Merritt being listed at RB5 because everybody with eyes and ears knows that Jakori Krosky Merritt is not only the third best running back, like the third ranked running back on his team, he's getting work already and he's stealing reps with the starters. He's out there with Jaden and company. So, hell yeah. Yeah, hey man, the Scrolls, you're a Chicago Bears fan, man. You should want some old players on your roster, man, because we doing things over here. I can't say the same for your squad, but best of luck to y'all, man. Hopefully, Caleb can find his receivers and they don't look anything like a mesh net because he ain't hitting that shit for nothing. And my quarterback makes that shit look like the layup line. But can't relate there. I also don't care if KJ returned punts game 1 of the preseason. He's still trying to make this team. Yeah, he can do that. He can have at it. He can have at it. Gayway or way gay? Gayway sound kind of fly. Gayway sounds kind of fly is a wild sentence, man. I'm a wild boy, but what do I think of the team right now? I think we're going to contend. I think we have the NFL MVP or number 2, the runner-up for MVP this year. And I think Terry McLaurin, one way or another, will be out there week 1 when the Giants come to town. And if we stay relatively healthy on both sides of the ball, I see no reason with a significantly harder schedule why we still don't make the playoffs this year because this is a good football team. This is one of the better Washington roster. No, this is probably the best Washington roster I've seen. Since we got a decent kicker, do we still go for it on 4th down? Yes, and I think it's subjective and situationally, we're never going to be as good as we were last year. We were like the most efficient 4th down team in the history of the league, but we have the ultimate force multiplier at quarterback, Jaden Daniels. He's a cheat code. He's a cheat code. 4th down, you give him the option to pass or run, and you just let his brain processing skills figure out which one he wants to do. He's going to get it. So we don't have to be the same as we were last year, but we're going to get more 4th downs than we don't get because Jaden Daniels is a force multiplier. You don't know what a force multiplier is? You know, in the military senses, it's something that can generate effectiveness even if not given the right ingredients. Like he doesn't need everything to be perfect around him. Jalen Hurts, and he still significantly affects the team's effectiveness. He's that. And he's going to be a cheat code every time he steps out on the field on 4th down at some point, man. Jaden loves Zach Ertz. A tight end is every quarterback's best friend. And even at his big age, Zach Ertz is Mr. Reliable for us. But if we don't get to the end of the season and Ben Sinnott ain't looking like he's ready to take the reins from him, I will be very concerned. But that's all I got for right now, man. Bill is the player we should all be most excited to see in the preseason. Bill, Jaden Lane, and I don't need to see too much of TREY AMOS because he has a solidified starting job on the outside. But that's all I got for today. Unofficial depth chart. Amos had a day, had a pick, a pass breakup, and he looks sticky out there despite the fact that we don't got a number 1 receiver out there running them the ones, and he's out there with Chris Moore and Luke McCaffrey. He looks good. Quan Martin looks good. Jaden Daniels to Deebo connection. They hit on a big play in team drills every day so far. Jakori Krosky Merritt is flashing with the starters on a consistent basis, and the team, the coaches, the media, the Bill propaganda is everywhere you look at this point. But Bill is 1,000% playing Friday. Hell yeah. He should be looking to be showcased in preseason versus Geico salesmen and Uber drivers. So absolutely, man. I'm excited to talk about it. I'm going to go ahead and sign this one off. Make sure y'all smash that like button. If you're not subbed up to the channel, subscribe. Subscribe to the Commanders Kings channel and pull up to the Commanders Kings live event on August 24th from Crystal City Sports Pub. I'm going to go ahead and head up out of here for the day. If we get any news at some point this evening, I'll be back. Y'all have a great Monday. Get out and get some steps in while it's sunny and the humidity isn't there. And hashtag pay Terry, hashtag pay Terry something reasonable. Talk soon, Commander Rio.